Hello, welcome to another episode of Photography 101. Today I wanted to talk about something that I've definitely been working on and learning quite a lot recently. And that's all about the other things that are in your images. When I say the other things, you often take a photo and you're looking at something that you're wanting to take the photo of. And it's so easy to not see all the other stuff that's actually going to be in that image. How often have you taken a photo of something, got home, looked at it and gone, I didn't even notice that bit of grass was going right over the top of that thing that I was taking a photo of. I've done it so many times, and that's something that I'm learning. It's also looking at what's on the edges of your photos, because you don't want things that are going to be half over the edge, because that can quite often ruin the edge of the image and the overall look of it. So today we're going to go and take some photos. And I'm going to talk you through sort of what I'm looking at, what I'm trying to avoid getting in my image, how I'm changing the image up slightly so that I can get what I want out of it, and take out the bits that I don't want in it. So let's go and see how that works, shall we? So I've come across this poppy, which is a lovely pop of red against all the green. But something that I'm looking at here, which I could quite easily miss and I have done in the past, is that stem on the left hand side of the poppy. I can move to the side, but I'm still getting it in the frame and it's quite distracting. So something that I'm looking at is whether I can photograph it from the other side. This way I can kind of push those other branches out to the right hand side, those bits that are sticking out. And the background will blur out, so you'll just be able to see the red. So something I quite like about this image is you've got the branch going up and across, and then you've got the ferns underneath to the side, so this sort of bright green is really framing the image of the stream running through. Something I'm going to have to be a bit careful about is those kids in the background on the swing, so I need to try and pick a moment when they're hiding behind the tree. And I think there's quite a lot of space on the left hand side, so I'll probably crop that out, and quite a lot of green space on the right hand side that isn't really part of the image, so probably make this a square crop, I think. This is actually another good example of watching out for what's around your image. Like I want to take a picture of the tree, but there's but there is a branch here in the front, which, to be honest, I was about to take the photo and hadn't even realised it was there, and then I looked a bit closer and realised that it's kind of blocking it. So I'm going to try and change the angle, and it might be that I just do it from this side, and I just need to try and get this out of the frame of the image. Got another natural frame here of the green kind of going around the whole image. It's a shame there's not another photographer? I'm a photographer. Another fisher in the middle bit there, but the reflections are really nice, so I'm going to take a picture of that one. So we've spent the first half of this video at Cannon Ponds looking at wider images. I've also got quite a few flowers in my garden that I've been eyeing up and wanting to take photos of with my macro lens, but I think this is also a good opportunity to look at how we compose images. So let's see what we can take. So something to think about with this one is a very pretty flower. Love the pink, but even using my macro lens, it blurs out the background, but I'll still get this yellow colour in the background. So whether I want that or whether I want to try and move, I've got another one here that will mean that I've got more of a green in the background. So thinking about that is going to be really important in taking this image. again, looking at these orange flowers, I'm going to pick my flower quite carefully. You can see with this one that it's got this other sort of dead one above it. If I want that to be part of my image, then that's great. But if I don't, then maybe I quite like the look of these two because I've got a little youngster underneath with this one, but I just want to make sure that when I'm taking the image, this one doesn't get in the way, because I could quite easily end up with that sort of half off the frame of the image, which could look a bit messy. I've got another nice one here that's just on its own, so if I can get the background right, then that could be quite a nice shot. So when you're looking at flowers, it's good to have a look at the ones that you specifically want to photograph and pay attention to the other ones that are around it as you take that image. You might also find that when you're using a macro lens, because your background is blurry, that actually you want orange splotches in the background of your orange flower. So trying to position it so that you get this main one in focus, but then the other ones add a bit of colour to the background can also be quite interesting. So it's worth looking at things like that. These pansies are a good example where you've got quite a lot of flowers in one image. So you want to be really careful about your edges. Whether you want to have half of a flower on the edge of your image or whether that doesn't look great. So you might want to try and pick a flower that specifically doesn't have any others near it, or position it in a way that looks best. So although you might be taking a photo of one flower, make sure you look at the other ones that are around it. Another one here where I've seen the sweet pea flower. I went to take a photo of it and I've realised the little bud on the right hand side, which when it's actually in the image is quite distracting. So better find a different sweet pea flower, I think. Although I don't know if anyone else has this problem. Mine are covered in green fly. There are quite a few ladybirds about there who I'm hoping are having a nice dinner. How cool is this passion flower? Those little yellow bits, they change angle depending on the time of the day. Must be something to do with how it attracts the bees. I just think it's so cool. It looks alien. Here's an example where I want to take a picture of this bud before it's opened. But actually I quite like the yellow colours behind it because it's showing the flowers that it will become once it opens. So I'm going to try and use that to my advantage. So it's taking the thing I want to photograph and the things that are around it and trying to use it to make a really good image. Thanks for watching. I hope you found that useful and it was interesting to see how I'm looking at the things that are alongside what I'm trying to photograph and how I make that work in my image. It's something that's really important, and I think as you progress in photography it's something that you really start to consider that you don't really think about when you start out, so it's a good way of levelling up your photography once you've got past that beginner stage. So good luck with your images, let me know how you get on, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye!